The sky over Carthax Prime was dark. Not from night, but from smoke. Buildings stood broken. Fires burned in every street. The war had destroyed everything. Sergeant Leo Carter limped through the rubble. His leg was bleeding. His uniform was torn. His hands shook from pain and fear. His squad was gone. All of them. He was the only one left. He had no plan, no orders. No backup. As he moved past a fallen tower, he heard something strange. Not a bomb, not a gun. It was soft. A small sound. A cry. Leo stopped. He turned slowly, eyes scanning the rubble. The sound came again. A weak, high-pitched cry. Like a child, he followed it, carefully, step by step. His leg hurt with every movement. But he didn't stop. Then he saw her. A small alien girl hiding between broken stone and metal. Her body shook with fear. Her skin was gold, soft and glowing. Her hair shimmered like moonlight. Her eyes were large and full of tears. She couldn't have been more than 5 years old. She wore a silver dress, torn and dirty. Around her neck hung a glowing pendant. Cracked. Fading, she looked up at Leo. Her lips moved. A single word came out. Mama, ... Leo's heart paused. She was not human. She was our enemy. The same race Earth had been fighting for years. He looked around. No soldiers, no cameras, no orders, just him and her. He took a step forward. She backed away, shaking. He knelt down, holding up his empty hands. "It's okay," he said softly. "I'm not here to hurt you." She stared at him. Her lips trembled. Then dash, boom, a blast echoed nearby. Dust rained down. The girl screamed and covered her head. Leo rushed forward, ignoring the pain in his leg. He pulled her out from under a sharp beam. She clung to his jacket, crying into his chest. Another sound filled the air, a deep, mechanical buzzing. Leo looked up. A drone hovered above. Black, deadly. Its red eye scanned the area, searching for movement, searching for heat. Leo ducked behind a half-broken wall, holding the girl tight. He whispered, "Stay quiet." The drone's light passed over them, dashed slowly. Leo held his breath. The girl did too. After a long moment, the drone moved on. Leo let out a sigh. His body shook from fear and exhaustion. He looked at the girl again. "You okay?" he asked. She gave a tiny nod. Her hands still clutched his jacket. Leo sat back against the wall. His leg throbbed badly. Blood soaked the cloth wrapped around it. He closed his eyes for a second. Then he felt something warm. The girl had touched his leg. Her pendant glowed softly. A light moved from her hand into his skin. The pain faded, not gone. But better. Leo opened his eyes in shock. What did you do?" She didn't answer. She just looked at him, tired, like she had used too much of her strength. Leo was stunned. This little alien girl had helped him. He smiled a little. "Thank you," he said. She blinked slowly, then rested her head on his chest and closed her eyes. Leo looked around again. The city was still burning. The air was full of danger. He knew one thing for sure. He couldn't leave her here. He picked her up gently. She was light as a feather. He stood up slowly, gripping his rifle in one hand and holding her with the other. "She needs help," he whispered to himself, "and I'm going to give it, even if it kills me." As he limped forward through smoke and fire, his eyes burned. But not from the dust. It was from the feeling rising in his chest. Hope. Even in a war full of death, there was still something worth saving. Ending line cliffhanger. And far above, in the sky, a different ship moved toward the city, one that carried the child's mother. And vengeance. Asterisk smoke curled through the empty streets. Red fire lit the buildings like ghosts, dancing in the dark. The war had not ended, had only gone silent for a while. Sergeant Leo Carter stepped carefully, his wounded leg dragging slightly. In his arms, the small alien girl slept with her head on his chest. Her name was still unknown, but her soft breathing gave him strength to keep moving. He crossed a cracked road. Burned vehicles lay on both sides, still smoking. And our end were scattered, silent and still. Leo looked away. He didn't want her to see. She shouldn't be here, he whispered. No child should be here. But she was. And now, so was he. Leo knew he needed to find shelter. Somewhere safe. Somewhere quiet. His eyes landed on an old medical station ahead. The roof was half gone, but parts of the walls were still standing. Just a few minutes, he said, mostly. To himself, he stepped inside. Dust and ash covered everything. Broken beds. Empty cabinets. Faded posters on the walls with the word hope, written in human and alien letters. He laid the girl gently on a soft chair. She stirred, opened her glowing blue eyes, and looked up at him. "You okay?" Leo asked. She nodded slowly, then pointed. At his leg? "It's fine," he lied. Blood still leaked from under the makeshift bandage. She looked at him again. Then, for the first time, she spoke more than one word. "You help, Arya." "Arya help you?" Leo blinked. "Arya, that's your name?" She gave a small nod. "You? What name?" "Leo," he said, offering a tired smile. "Sergeant Leo Carter." Arya touched the badge on his chest. Leo, suddenly, glass shattered. In the next room, Leo grabbed his rifle and crouched in front of Arya. He signaled for her to stay. Quiet, footsteps echoed outside. Voices, human voices. 3 rough-looking men entered. They wore Earth soldier armor, but their faces were wild and dirty. Deserters. One of them laughed when he saw Leo. "Well, well, what do we have here?" Leo aimed his rifle. "Back off." Another man pointed at Arya. "That's Aryan, isn't it?" "A real one. Little alien princess. Worth a lot to the right people." Leo stood firm. "She's under my protection." The first deserter smiled darkly. "And who's protecting you?" The men spread out, weapons half raised. Leo's leg burned. He couldn't win a fight like this. But he wouldn't give Arya up. "Try anything," Leo growled, "and I drop all 3 of you." One of the men lunged. Crack. Leo fired. The bullet hit the man's shoulder. He screamed and fell back. The others ran for cover, but Arya's pendant began to glow again. A light burst from it, blinding and sharp. The men screamed and stumbled, holding their eyes. Leo didn't waste the chance. He grabbed Arya and ran out the back of the clinic, ignoring the pain in his body. They burst into the street again, the firelight shining on their faces. Arya looked up, worried. "Bad men." Leo nodded. "Very bad. But we're okay." He checked. The small map built into his wrist device. A signal ping. There was an old evacuation ship port 5 kilometers north. Maybe it still worked. Maybe not. "Come on," he said, holding her tight. "We're not stopping now." They moved through the city ruins. Step by step, past burning cars, past hollow homes, past memories that had turned to dust. At one point, Leo tripped and fell hard. He groaned, holding his ribs. Arya rushed to his side, her tiny hands pressed to his arm. A soft light pulsed through his jacket. The pain eased again. He stared at her. "How do you do that?" She looked confused. "Gift, Mama say. Protect only good ones." Leo gave a small, broken laugh. "Guess I got lucky." They walked until they reached a bridge. It was broken in the middle, but the bottom was shallow. Leo looked at Arya. Hold tight. He carried her across, wading through water up to his waist. Cold, heavy, but he didn't. Stop. Arya held on to him, whispering something in Aryan. A prayer maybe? Or a song. When they reached the other side, Leo collapsed under a tree. He breathed hard, chest rising and falling like waves in a storm. Arya looked up at the stars through the smoke. Mama coming. Leo frowned. What? She nodded. She feel me. She'll always find me. Leo looked to the sky, unsure what that meant. But far above, in orbit, a sleek black ship was already cutting through the clouds, fast and silent. On board, Commander Celine stood in armor, eyes burning. Her daughter was alive, and with a human. That human had touched her child. And by Aryan law. That meant everything was about to change. The morning never came. Smoke still covered the sky. The sun tried to shine, but its light barely reached the ground. Fires glowed like dying stars, and the air was thick with silence. Leo tightened the straps on his gear. His leg hurt again, but he didn't stop. Arya, the small alien girl, walked beside him now. Her hand held his tightly. She didn't speak much, but she never let go. They had walked through ruined streets, past empty homes, and crossed broken bridges. Leo's body was tired, but his heart refused to quit. In the distance, a low rumble shook the ground. Time to disappear. Leo muttered he spotted a metal door on the side of a cracked wall. A warning sign flashed red. But Leo pushed it open anyway. The tunnel inside was dark, wide, and cold. It was the old subway system abandoned since the war started. He helped Arya climb down the broken stairs. Their footsteps echoed in the silence. The walls were covered in old posters. Smiling faces, peace signs, case. Lost dreams. Leo turned on his flashlight. The beam cut through the shadows like a blade. Stay close, he whispered. Arya nodded. They walked through the tunnels slowly. The silence was heavy, like it was watching them. Arya suddenly looked up. This place feels bad. Leo looked around. You sense something? She closed her eyes. Angry voices, long ago. Still here? Leo didn't ask more. Her powers confused him. But he believed her. Then they heard it, footsteps, heavy metal. Marching Leo pulled Arya into a dark corner. He turned off the light and covered her mouth gently. 3 Aryan scouts walked past, tall, armored, dangerous. They spoke in their own tongue, scanning the area. Arya trembled. Leo held her tight. His own breath quiet and shallow. The scouts stopped. One of them turned, sniffed the air like a beast. Leo gripped his weapon. One wrong move, and it was over. But then static on the scouts' radios. A voice called them away. They left. Leo waited. 10 seconds. 21 minutes. Only then did he let go. Arya looked up with wide eyes. You did great, Leo said softly. She smiled a little, then leaned her head against his arm. They moved deeper into the tunnel. Soon they reached an old control room. Rusted consoles, broken screens. But it was quiet and safe for now. Leo sat on the ground with a groan. He checked his wound. The bandage was soaked again. Arya crawled over and placed her small hands on the injury. Her pendant glowed, just a little. Save strength, Leo said. You need it. Arya frowned. But Leo hurt. I've been hurt worse, he joked, though he could barely sit up. Arya looked around the room. Her eyes stopped at a broken panel on the wall. She walked to it, touched a piece of glowing glass, and it blinked to life. Leo sat up straighter. What did you just do? Arya's hands moved in a strange rhythm, pressing buttons Leo didn't understand. A screen flickered. Then, a map.a showed the the destroyed districts, and the evacuation point marked by a fading green light. A tiny ship icon blinked slowly. "It's still there," Leo whispered. Arya nodded. "For now, but we're underground. No way to call for help." Arya looked at the screen, then touched her pendant. "Mama hears me. Always." Leo stared at her. She was a child, small, fragile, but inside her was something powerful, something ancient. "What is your mother like?" he asked. Arya paused, then said, "Strong, scary, but kind to me." Leo chuckled softly. "Sounds like someone I'd be afraid of." "She won't hurt you," Arya said slowly. "I tell her." Leo leaned back. "Let's hope she listens." Suddenly, a loud clang echoed through the tunnels. Something had entered behind them. Leo stood, grabbing his rifle. A red light flashed down the tunnel. A hunter unit. Small, fast, deadly. It moved like a snake, silent, sharp, and watching. Leo grabbed Arya and ran. The hallway was tight. Pipes burst around them as the drone fired. "Go! Go!" Leo shouted. They ducked into a side tunnel. Leo turned and shot. One bullet hit the drone. Sparks flew, but it kept coming. Arya stopped running. "Keep going." Leo shouted, but she turned and held up her pendant. A golden wave of light blasted from it. The drone froze. Its systems blinked, then exploded. Leo stared in shock. Arya swayed, weak and dizzy. Her legs shook. He rushed to catch her before she fell. "You okay?" he asked. She nodded, but barely. "That was too much," he said, holding her close. They sat together in the dark, breathing hard. Leo whispered, "We're almost there. Just a little more." But above them, someone else was watching. In the orbiting hour-young ship, Commander Celine stood with narrowed eyes. Her daughter's pendant had just sent a signal. She now had her location, and she would arrive. Soon. The sky was still hidden behind smoke and clouds. But Leo Carter knew time was running out. He moved slowly now. Every step was pain. His wounded leg dragged with each stride. Arya, the golden-skinned alien child, held his hand tightly. She didn't speak much anymore. She looked tired, her glowing pendant dim. They had escaped the tunnels. They now walked along a narrow path between two broken towers. Above them, sharp steel beams reached into the sky like broken fingers. The city was quiet, but not safe. Leo checked his wrist map again. The old spaceport was close. Less than 2 kilometers now. That was the good news. The bad news, a drone signal was following them. Leo had heard the buzzing since they left the underground. It was faint, but steady. The sound of death circling above. "Stay low," Leo whispered. "Don't make noise." Arya nodded and followed closely. They crossed a collapsed bridge made of metal scraps. Beneath them, deep black water reflected fire from above. It looked like the world was burning from both sides. Suddenly, bzzzzzzz, a red beam lit the path behind them. Leo spun around. A Hunter-class drone hovered above, sleek, black, faster than the others, designed to find targets and kill them. It locked on instantly. Beep, dash, beep, dash, beep. Run. Leo shouted. Arya didn't hesitate. She ran as fast as her little legs could move. The drone opened fire. Bright blue plasma shots burned holes in the ground around them. Leo fired back. His bullets hit the armor but barely left a scratch. They ducked into a half-collapsed building. Inside, it was dark and tight. Stairs crumbled as they climbed. Arya stumbled, but Leo grabbed her hand and pulled her up behind them. The drone followed, breaking through the walls like a knife through paper. They reached the rooftop. Wind howled. The city stretched in all directions, broken, ruined, dying. But Leo didn't care. Ahead, In the far distance, he saw it, the spaceport. Its towers stood weak, but they still blinked with power. The green light was still there. Hope. Then crash. The drone burst onto the rooftop. Leo pushed Arya behind him. Stay down. The drone scanned Leo's face. Its system clicked. Target. Leo Carter, priority kill order. Active. Great, Leo muttered. So I'm famous. The drone fired. Leo rolled, avoiding the blast. He fired back, aiming for the eyes. One shot hit sparks flew, but the drone was too strong. It launched a blade. Leo ducked, but it slashed across his shoulder. He screamed, blood pouring from the wound. The drone charged again. But then, Arya stepped forward. Her pendant glowed brighter than ever before. She raised her hand. No, she shouted. Voice louder than Leo had ever heard. The pendant unleashed a burst of golden light. It hit the drone directly. Electricity danced across its body. It froze, then began to shake violently. Leo grabbed Arya and shielded her. Boom! The drone exploded into pieces. Metal shards flew across the rooftop. Smoke filled the air. Silence followed. Leo opened his eyes. Arya lay in his arms, breathing hard. Her glow was gone. Her body was limp. Arya, he whispered. She opened her eyes slowly. I stop. Bad machine. You did more than that, Leo said. You saved both of us. He tore a piece of cloth and wrapped his bleeding shoulder. Then he stood barely. He looked toward the spaceport again. Still far, but not unreachable. He carried Arya down the fire escape stairs. Carefully, step by step. On the ground, he found a piece of scrap metal and used it as a sled. He placed Arya on it, tied ropes to it, and began to pull her through the ruined streets. He was exhausted, bleeding, barely standing, but he didn't stop because she had saved him. And now it was his turn again, as they moved slowly toward the port, far above them. A new ship entered the sky, sleek, silent. Deadly Commander Selene stood at its front, eyes fixed on the ground below. She had felt the explosion, felt her daughter's energy scream through space. Now she was coming down, not just to retrieve her daughter, but to demand justice. The wind was dry, full of dust and ash. The last road to the spaceport stretched ahead like a path through a dead world. Leo Carter limped across it, dragging a small metal sled behind him. On it lay Arya, the golden-skinned alien child, sleeping. Deeply taut, her energy was gone. Her pendant no longer glowed. Leo's body screamed with every step. His shoulder was cut, his leg burned. His clothes were torn, soaked with blood and sweat, but he didn't stop. The gates of the old port finally came into view. Tall and rusted, but still standing. Faint lights blinked. A sign above read in 2 languages. Evacuation Site 09 Emergency. Use only. Leo reached the gate and pressed his ID chip against the scanner. A red light flashed. Access denied. He groaned. Figures. He looked down at Arya. Her small chest rose and fell slowly. I'm not letting it end here. Then he heard it. A worry sound in the air, like wings made of thunder. Leo turned. Up. A ship descended from the smoky sky. Black, sleek, unlike any Earth ship, it landed with perfect silence. The ground shook, softly. A ramp opened. Out stepped Commander Selene. She was taller than any human. Her skin was silver blue, her eyes sharp like stars. Her armor glowed with power. A long spear rested in her hand. She wore a crown made of shining crystal. Behind her, 2 armored Aryan guards followed, but stopped at the edge of the ramp. She walked alone. Leo raised his rifle instinctively. Even though his arms shook, Selene looked at him. Then she looked at Arya. Her expression changed slightly. Cold fury melted into something else. Worry, fear. She spoke, her voice calm but full of power. Give me the child. Leo didn't lower the gun. She's hurt. She's saved my life. I won't let anyone take her unless I know she's safe. Selena's eyes narrowed. You are in no position to make demands human. She trusted me, Leo said, voice low. I carried her, protected her, almost died for her. You touched my daughter, Selene said. Her voice trembled slightly, now not with fear, but with meaning. You carried her in your arms. Leo was confused. Yeah, what does that mean? Selene stepped closer. Her armor shimmered with every move. To touch an Aryan child in a time of war. To carry her, bleed for her, shield her with your body. She paused. By our laws, you have invoked a sacred bond. Leo blinked. What bond? The life bond, she said. Behind her, the guards shifted nervously. You are now bound to Arya, Selene said, until the debt is paid. Leo looked down at the girl. I didn't ask for any bond. I just didn't want her to die. Selena's eyes softened for the first time. That is why the bond chose you. Leo stepped back. So, what does this mean? You're going to take me prisoner? No, Selene said. Not prisoner. You are her protector now, for life. Leo laughed weakly. You're joking. I do not joke, Selene said. The life bond cannot be broken. Suddenly, a loud voice called from behind Leo. Step away from the alien, Sergeant. Leo turned. A small Earth patrol had arrived for soldiers in brown armor. Rifles ready. Put your weapon down and back away, their leader barked. We're taking the child into custody. Leo raised his hand slowly. You don't understand. She's not a threat. She's the daughter of their top war commander, the man said. She's worth more than you can imagine. Selena's eyes burned. Touch her, and your bones will be dust. The soldiers raised their weapons. Selene raised her spear. Leo stood between them. No one's touching her. Move, Carter. The soldier shouted. No, Leo said. The air grew heavy. Then Arya stirred. She sat up weakly. Mama Selene dropped her spear and rushed forward, kneeling beside the sled. My child, she whispered, her voice suddenly breaking. Arya leaned into her mother's arms. Leo saved me. Selene looked up at Leo, eyes filled with something new. Respect, she turned toward the Earth soldiers. Lower your weapons. This human is under my people's law now. The soldiers looked confused. We don't recognize alien law. You will, Selene growled, or this will become the first battle of a new war. A long silence. Then the soldier slowly lowered his rifle. The others followed. Selene stood, holding Arya. Leo Carter, she said, you have fulfilled. More than duty, you have honored both our races. Leo smiled tiredly. Can I sit down now? Selene nodded. Yes, and soon. You will come with us. Leo blinked. With you. You carry the bond, she said. You belong with her now, wherever she goes. He looked at Arya. She smiled, tired but bright. And for the first time in days, Leo felt peace, Leo Carter. Sat on a crate beside the landing ramp of the alien ship, his wounds bandaged, his mind racing. The skies above were quiet now, but tension burned hotter than any fire. Two groups stood at the edge of the ruined spaceport Earth soldiers. Tense and watchful, and Aryan warriors, silent but fierce. With glowing armor and unreadable faces, and in the center of it all stood Commander Selene, tall and unmoving. With her daughter Arya beside her and Leo just behind them, the Earth officer stepped forward again. Sergeant Carter, last warning. Step away from the alien child. Return to Earth Command. You're not authorized to make agreements with enemy leaders. Leo didn't budge. She's not just some alien, he said, his voice calm. She's a child. She saved me. I saved her. She's Aryan royalty, the officer snapped. She's dangerous. She's 5 years old, Leo said. And she held me when I couldn't walk. Celine raised her spear and spoke, her voice cold like a winter storm. If you attempt to separate my daughter from her bonded guardian, you break a law older than your species. The officer frowned. We don't follow alien laws. Celine narrowed her eyes. Then we do not follow yours. Suddenly, both sides raised weapons. Fingers twitched. One wrong word, and everything would burn again. Wait. Leo stepped between them. No more fighting. Everyone froze. Leo looked at both sides. I don't care whose flag flies. I didn't sign up to let a child die in a war she didn't start. He turned to Celine. Explain this life bond again. I need to understand. Celine walked forward, slow and graceful. Arya followed close behind. In Aryan tradition, Celine said, a life bond is created when a protector risks death to save a sacred life. My daughter is royal born. Her bloodline is ancient. You carried her across war zones. You bled for her. You shielded her from fire and death. I didn't know, Leo said softly. You didn't need to. She replied, the bond formed anyway. It is not about knowledge. It is about choice. You chose to protect her, even when you had every reason not to. Leo looked at Arya. She smiled at him, weak but full of warmth. He knelt down. Is this what you want? Arya placed her tiny hand over his heart. You're my safe place. Leo closed his eyes. Those 4 words hit harder than any explosion. He stood and turned back toward the Earth soldiers. If staying with her means I don't get to go home, then so be it. The Earth's officer looked shocked. You'd give up everything? For her. Leo shrugged. I already gave everything. My squad's gone. My home was gone the moment I saw her crying in the smoke. She gave me a reason to keep walking. Celine stepped beside Leo now. Her voice rang across the ruined port. We are not asking. We are declaring. This human is now guardian of Aryan blood. Harming him is equal to harming a royal. The Aryan warriors behind her tapped their weapons once a salute. Earth Command hesitated. Then, a message buzzed through the Earth officer's communicator. He stepped aside to listen. Seconds later, he returned with a different face. High Command has made a decision, he said reluctantly. They won't stop you. Leo nodded. Good. But, the officer added, if you go with them, you're out. No return, you'll be listed as missing in action. We won't back you up. We won't come for you. Leo looked toward Arya, then back at the officer. I don't need saving, he said. I'm doing the saving. Celine turned and walked toward her ship. She didn't need to ask if Leo would follow. He did. Inside, the walls were smooth and glowing. The ship smelled of flowers and steel. Strange. Beautiful music hummed quietly in the air. A seat unfolded for Leo. Another one formed for Arya beside it. Celine turned to him. You may not know this, human, she said. But by our law, you are now family. Leo blinked. Family? You. Will live among us, she said. And in time, you will understand why you were chosen. Leo looked down at Arya. She held his hand tightly. Guess I'm not just a soldier anymore, he said. No, Celine replied. Now, you are ours. The ramp closed. The ship lifted from the ground, silent and smooth, far below. Earth soldiers watched as the alien ship carried one of their own into the stars. They had lost a soldier, but maybe, just maybe, had planted the seed of peace. The stars stretched wide and endless. Leo Carter stood at the observation window of the Aurian starship. Below, Earth was a blue and green sphere, fading slowly behind them. He had left his world, his war, his people, and yet he didn't feel lost. Beside him stood Arya, her small hand wrapped around two of his fingers. Her golden skin shimmered under the soft white lights of the ship. She was no longer crying, no longer scared. She was smiling. "Home," she whispered. Leo looked at her. "This ship?" She shook her head. "Where you are." Leo swallowed hard. That one line carried more weight than 1,000 medals. Behind them, a door slid open. Commander Selene entered Dharma gone, replaced by a dark royal robe. Her face looked softer now, less like a warrior and more like a mother. She walked up to Leo and bowed her head slightly. "The council has gathered. They wish to meet you." Leo raised an eyebrow. "Council? You mean your leaders?" "They rule over 20 systems," she said. "They will want to understand who you are, and why my daughter called you father in her dreams." Leo blinked. She said that. Selene nodded. "Many times. Even in sleep, she sees you as her protector." Leo looked down at Arya. "I'm not sure I'm ready for something like that." "None of us are," Selene replied. "Until we are." She turned and led him through glowing halls. Doors opened without a sound. The ship felt alive, most like it breathed. Finally, they entered a vast round chamber. 7 alien figures sat in tall chairs, their eyes glowing, their robes flowing. Like liquid starlight, Leo stood tall. Even though he felt completely out of place, the center counselor spoke, voice echoing like wind through mountains. "You are the human who carried the daughter of Selene through fire and death." "I am," Leo said simply. "You did this not for reward, not for gain, but out of choice." "Yes? Then why?" Another asked. "Why save the child?" "Of your enemy." Leo took a deep breath. "Because in that moment, she wasn't my enemy. She was just a little girl, lost, afraid, and I couldn't walk away." The room was quiet for a moment. Then one of the elders stood. "That is what we feared most and yet hoped for." Leo frowned. "What do you mean?" "We feared your kind would never see us as more than targets. But in saving one child, you have built a bridge between our worlds." Selene stepped forward. "The bond is real. My daughter's heart has chosen, and I honor it." The eldest counselor raised a glowing hand. "Then let it be known, Leo Carter of Earth is no longer outsider. He is now bridge-bound. He may live among us, walk with us, speak in our halls." Leo's eyes widened. "You're accepting me? Just like that?" "You bled for our future queen," the elder said. "Oath is greater." Arya ran to Leo and hugged his leg tightly. "No more hiding." He smiled. "No more hiding." In the days that followed, Leo stayed aboard the Aurian ship. He learned their language, their ways, their laws. They gave him a room next to Arya's. She visited him every night with questions about Earth, about music, about rain. And Leo started feeling like he belonged. Selene watched quietly from afar. She saw how Arya laughed again, how she slept peacefully, and how her eyes followed Leo wherever he went. One evening, Selene joined Leo at the observation window. "You changed her life," she said. "She changed mine first," Leo replied. Selene looked at him. "You are not just her guardian now. You are something more." Leo nodded. "I know." Silence passed between them. Then Selene spoke again. "The war between our people. It may not last much longer." Leo turned. "You think peace is possible?" "Maybe," she said. "Not because of talks, not because of treaties, but because of you. Because one human soldier carried an enemy child instead of leaving her to die. Leo looked out at the stars again. If carrying a little girl can change the universe, I'd do it all over again. He turned to Celine and added, and I'll keep carrying her. As long as I breathe. She gave him a long look, then bowed her head. A bond like that, she said, could end 1,000 wars.